Hello, Mark. We are delighted to welcome you for this interview as a loyal partner of Olfeo OEM. So, to get straight to the point right now, can you please introduce yourself quickly, and as well tell us a bit about Ekinops, your current market positioning?
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for hosting us today. So my name is Mark Bouter. I'm in charge of the product management in Ekinops for all the software solution. So Ekinops is a French company dedicated to service provider. We are selling telecom equipment to service provider. So mainly we have three big divisions. The first one is really the optical transport division. So we are selling optical transport to service provider for their backbone or to very large organization. As a second part of our portfolio is more related to the access product. So Ekinops acquired a company named One Access a few years ago, which is very well known in this marketplace. On this particular product line, we are selling routers, voice equipment, EAD, Ethernet access device, again, mainly to service provider. So when we are talking about service provider, we are talking about Orange in France, Deutsche Telekom, Telefonica, Telus in North America. So it's an international company. We are doing half of our revenue in Europe, half in US. Europe is mainly centric about access product, when US is more centric on the optical transport product. And the last division, which has been created more recently, where I'm in charge for the product management, is the software division. So that's where we are developing solution, end-to-end solution for end customers. So again, we are selling to service provider, and service provider include that into their own offer to the end customer, which is always enterprise, because our product line are dedicated to enterprise. We are not doing, let's say, router for the traditional home market, but really for the enterprise market of the service provider. In that area, we have introduced several products. So one of the first of all, which was the initiative about the introduction with Olfeo, which is called the SD-WAN Express. So we are using, in fact, our technology or access product to enable SD-WAN capabilities on this product. And in that regards, we need some database from Olfeo. That's where we are leveraging your solution, your OEM solution. At the same time, we made a new offer out of our SD-WAN Express. We find on the market that there is some new needs, especially for very small enterprise. So we call it Smart Connect. So it's a bit the same idea than the SD-WAN Express, is to give the same capabilities, but to a smaller company, because usually the SD-WAN market is more for large company. So that's where we have launched this new market. And on my side, I have also two other product lines. The first one is Universal CPE. So that's what we call the white box. So it's basically a solution where service provider can deploy any type of application, virtualized application that they want to run at the edge. So that's one. And more recently, and probably our next collaboration with Olfeo, is the purchase that we made through to InfoVista, which is a product named 5U, which is a dedicated monitoring solution for NetFlow that we will integrate into our SD-WAN solution later on. But we can, and we expect to continue to sell it aside, and we want to enrich that as well with the Olfeo database portfolio.
I follow up on your last answer. You started integrating Olfeo 5 years ago now around our SaaS application and URL databases. How could you identify or qualify the characteristic of our product today?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, one of the attributes of an SD-WAN solution is doing two things: the visibility of the application, and on the other side, the ability to define which application is going into which network. If we want to resume that very simply. So for us, it was very important to get a database which is trustable, because at the end, we are using the Olfeo database for two purposes. The first one is to take a decision where to send the traffic, based on the fact that we recognize the application using the Olfeo database. We are using your technology, as you mentioned, especially because we can make detection at the first packet, which is very essential for us from a security perspective and from an efficiency perspective as well. So for us, it was very important to get a database which is really up to date and regularly updated, because that's really where the traffic and the end user will perceive the quality of the database through our product. And the second part, of course, is to leverage the same database that we are using, which is in fact the SaaS database mainly in our product, in order to give the visibility to our customers. because one of the second attributes is, of course, for our customers to be able to see which traffic is going where, or potentially, as we are using it to our SD-WAN, to prevent some traffic to go into some specific application. That's what we call the barring. Especially, we dedicate a solution for the so-called shadow IT, preventing a customer to use Zoom if he get a Office 365 appointment or this kind of usage. It's not the firewall, because you know as well, we are using your URL database in one of our specific products that we made for one of our customers, which is basically doing the same thing, but to a complete range of application, including URL. We are not offering that into our SD-WAN, because in that case, the database is much bigger, while our SD-WAN is running on the smallest CPE that we have with a very low memory, which was also one of the assets of what we were looking at, is to be able to have a database small enough, but precise enough to be loaded directly on our physical CPE.
Finally, how would you describe your partnership with Olfeo OEM?
So, as we mentioned, we have a trusty relationship together. It's very efficient. When we have issues, we are contacting you. We receive regular updates without doing anything specific. So that was this kind of interaction which is important for us, because first, it's a smooth integration. We were able to do this integration quite simply with your support, of course. And at the second part, it's also interesting in a daily relationship, because as I was mentioning, one of the points which is important is the update of the database, of course. So we need to get regular update from you as well. And all the processes which is between our two companies working pretty well today.
Thank you very much, Mark, for this interview.
Thank you for hosting us. Thanks. Bye-bye.